Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 45 of Cutscene Convos.
Mm.
This week we will be covering Who is Santa Claus, the 1978 Star Wars Christmas special, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. We're also going to be discussing which of the assorted fictional families would we rather spend Christmas with, before we dive into the nerdy news of the week, which includes updates on Star Wars games, Star Wars TV, Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse, and lots of DC news. And then finishing off with the Superhero Showdown, which is going to be between Swamp Thing and The Signal. But
Mm.
before all of that, Horizontal, how was your week?
My week has been busy. uh, Rotterdam for Acolyte kicked off today, so up until yesterday was kind of a bit of crunch time on getting the scorecard package and all that stuff. All the prep stuff kind of wrapped up. Turned into a bit of a crunch time, just as things do. Things take longer than expected, and before you know it, you've got like 2 days to turn around something, and it's like, oh shit. Um,
A
but that
world of
all,
projects.
yeah. I mean, it all got done. Turned out great. Unfortunately, not the best day one performance. The boys
No?
lost both their games today.
Oof. Oof, oof,
Yeah,
oof, oof,
think
oof.
first game just was like didn't look themselves, probably a bit nervous, and then this it's like a Swiss bracket. So the second one was against FaZe. They looked better, and there was like a couple of rounds went close. One of them went to overtime, so it's like they didn't like lose really badly, and on another day that could have gone the other way. So hopefully tomorrow they come out better because they're now at a point where they can't lose if they want to stay in. So, but yeah, a bit more of a chill week. Oh, chill week now, going forward.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's how my week's been. How's your week?
Oh, the end of the year just continuing to kick my ass is continuing.
Oh no.
As someone who like doesn't get sick like really ever, I've now got sick for the second time in as many months.
Jeez. This is why you don't leave the house.
Honestly, like it's completely like Sunday. I woke up. Now, when I say fell down the stairs, I don't mean actually fell down the stairs. I mean I was barely in control of my body and I managed to get downstairs. I then fell onto the sofa and basically stayed there for the rest of the day.
Sounds like a normal
It
day for me.
I was I honestly I while the entire week of COVID was worse than how I felt this week, that particular Sunday was worse than any part of having COVID. I couldn't move. I'm normally really good at being quite even temperatured,
Yeah,
and like in my workshop at work, I control the thermostat in there, so that temperature is set perfectly for me.
nice.
I finished fiddling with it maybe like 6 months ago now. No, probably 7 months ago. And I haven't had to change it since. I just go in the morning, turn it on, turn it off when I leave, and I'm a lovely temperature all day. The hots and colds of this thing, I've been this week in my workshop both sweating and shivering.
Lovely. Sounding like an old man here now.
Yeah, yeah. As well as a filthy cough, which I'm hoping to protect you all from with my mute button. Um, but yeah, it's not been phenomenal, but we are surviving. I'm on the back end of it now. I'm feeling a lot better. But Monday and Tuesday were looking sketchy there for sure.
Not what you want.
No, it's
Especially on
really
the run
not.
up to Christmas as
Yeah,
well.
it's just one thing after another, innit?
Yeah,
But
try to survive to Christmas without getting ill again.
yeah, that'd be a miracle at this point. Anyway, um, talking of Christmas,
Mm,
we said we'd get into the festive season
we did.
with our character profiles. So today we're going to be covering Marvel's version of Santa Claus.
Yes, and if you're
Um,
a very young child, um, maybe stop listening.
I mean this
We
is
don't want to
just
ruin
Marvel's
anything.
interpretation of him.
This is true.
Um, so he first appeared in a Marvel comic book in November 1954.
Oh,
So they clearly got publishing rights from Santa to use his name pretty early on.
Signed
you
a
know,
deal. Signed a deal with him.
while Santa's a very giving person, he's not so lenient about copyright infringement.
Yeah, he's got to get his cut. He's only
he's got-
useful. He only works 1 month a year.
Yeah, you got to remember, copyright law is very strict. If you don't protect your copyright, you lose it.
DMCA
So,
is not something to be messed with.
exactly. But it's very interesting how they did it. So the mythos around who Santa Claus is something that even we don't know. And lots of people believe he's come from different places. And they've kind of taken 3 of the many different beliefs of Santa Claus, and they've kind of played with them. So one is a 4th century bishop of Myra near Turkey.
Okay.
Who was known for being very kind and generous. And it got to the point where anytime anything nice happened in his local area, people would say thank you to him, just assuming it was him who did it, not that it was anyone else or that it was dumb luck.
Right.
And then when that particular man passed away, there was a church built and people would celebrate his birthday, which was the 4th of December,
Interesting.
by giving each other presents in his honor.
Okay.
And then some believe as globalization took place, that story mixed with other people's similar stories then led to Santa Claus.
Okay.
Some believe it's an inspiration of a story of when Odin came to Earth, or kind of came to Earth, while fighting some beings. A human kind of got caught in the crossfire and was left in a bit of a dangerous situation.
Right.
But the person had faith in Odin to protect him. And as a result of that, Odin got Thor to go and collect the best wines and meats and stuff from Asgard. Odin then put on his best furs and delivered them to the humans.
Okay.
And then as he was leaving, he left in a sleigh pulled by 2 of the flying rams.
Screaming rams.
Yeah, and you can see how that would lead into parts of Santa Claus as well.
Yes.
And another belief is that in pre-medieval Britain, elders would dress up in furs as a character known as Old Winter during the winter, and they would deliver food and water to the locals, the families. And it was believed that if you were kind to Old Winter, then winter itself would be kind to you and give you an easier winter to survive through.
Interesting.
And what Marvel say is humanity's belief in these 3 legends mixed with a magical spiritual energy created Santa Claus as we know him in the Marvel Universe.
Pure Christmas spirit.
Yes. So he's a mix of all of these brilliant and beautiful things, doused with a fair bit of magic and swagger. And then we move on to kind of some of his first interactions during in the Marvel Universe. Most notably for me is during the Second World War, Hitler kidnapped Santa to try and ruin the Allies' morale. But Nick Fury Sr., Captain America, and Bucky went and saved him. Because that's what heroes do.
Yes. And they want to be on the good list.
Exactly. But most famously, in my opinion, Cerebro, which some of you will remember is Professor X's machine that amplifies his power so he can find mutants all over the world. Cerebro detected Santa and categorized him as the most powerful mutant ever registered.
Would make sense.
And here's the thing, that makes him not only an Omega level mutant, of which there can only be 1 for each kind of power set, but he would also have to be a very powerful Omega level mutant, even by Omega level standards, to be the most powerful mutant ever registered, but also because his powers are centered around mind, space, and time reality bending,
Yeah.
which is how he's able to deliver presents all in a single night.
Yes.
So Santa is very, very powerful. I believe there are some instances of him wielding the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh my god.
Because there was a I
Needs
think
the
there was an
time stone.
issue. I think there was an issue one Christmas.
Ah.
So he needed the gauntlet to save Christmas.
Didn't have Rudolph to drag the
Yeah.
sleigh.
But yeah, Santa is very powerful. He is not to be trifled with in the MCU, but
No.
it's fine because if he ever did get involved, he is a good guy.
Yeah, if you end up on his naughty list, you don't get coal, you get snapped.
But that is how Marvel has decided they will characterize their Santa Claus. Next week we'll be covering how DC portray their Santa Claus, which will be
It'll be
very interesting.
going off. That'll be interesting with now we've had a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, and they've talked about this. They did the song of like who Santa was. Imagine they just do it from like we get like 3 years of different perspectives. Like we go to like new Valhalla, or not Valhalla, new Asgard, and they have their version where they're discussing like their Santa, and then from all that we then get Santa in the MCU.
That'd be very cool as well. But it's time to talk about
keeping on Christmas themes and Christmas specials.
So we're going to talk about the 1978 Star Wars Christmas special.
Absolute
now,
banger.
I've always known that this is considered quite a kooky show.
I have never heard of it. Well, I've heard there was a Christmas special. I've never seen or watched it.
It's very much like
a fever dream?
Internet lore, where people just occasionally go, don't forget what they did.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and go, no matter how much you hate some of the stuff Disney has done, that is worse.
Yeah, that is definitely probably, like, say what you want about the Disney Star Wars films, but I feel like I've found a new low point for Star Wars.
Like, it says a lot when, like, the Star Wars Christmas special isn't even on Disney Plus.
It was like a fever dream. I swear down that obviously it must have come out, like, it's come out when there was like the height of Star Wars.
It's come out after the first film, I believe, as well. So only one film had come out.
Oh, okay. So, like,
I believe. Let me just double check that.
Really, probably riding the hype. They were like, "Oh, what if we made a Christmas special and sold it to all the network channels over the holiday season? That'd make us loads of money."
A New Hope came out summer '77.
Right.
And Empire Strike Back came out summer '80.
So it came out between.
So this was right in the middle of 4 and 5.
That's definitely a... First one was a success. People are getting a little bit hyped about probably some news of the second one.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we could make a holiday special and sell it to all the channels. Because obviously back then they would probably pay, like, it was all TV channels, so they'd just pay for stuff to be put on their channels.
Yeah.
And I swear down, they just got some writers that were either on acid or were had the flu and were having a fever, because there's it doesn't even feel like a holiday film. There's very light holiday sprinkling. The
entire concept is Han is trying to get Chewie.
He's driving home for Christmas.
Family for Life Day.
Yeah. Also known as the great song everyone knows of Driving Home for Christmas.
Yeah. They of course run into a issue with an Imperial fleet.
Yeah.
That slows them down, which leads to lots of nervous faces.
Footage used from
Yes, it was. This leads. So basically, the first hour
First, at least 40 minutes
is
before we get some English.
yeah. So like, other than the occasional 30 seconds here or there, the first 40 minutes straight through is all in Wookiee. Now, I have no reason to believe that when that was initially aired, they translated it either.
Oh no, this is before a period where they would do subtitles.
So it's all supposed to be contextual, and you get bits of it, but
all I got was kid wanted to play, Chewie's kid wants to play, the old grandparent one is winding up the kid, and then
yeah,
mum's trying to cook dinner or getting annoyed, and then tells kid, stop playing, wash the dishes. Picked up on that. Other than that, don't really have a fucking clue what went on.
yeah. There's lots of wacky technology we've ever seen.
Do you know what I thought?
The Empire is portrayed in a very kind of
light-hearted.
They're just the government kind of way.
Yeah, very not the same Empire we've seen in Andor. Let's put it.
Bearing in mind that Empire in Andor is as they're building the Death Star. This is after the Death Star's been blown up. I don't want to imagine how horrible they would have been.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm pretty sure we also know as canon now that A, Chewie doesn't have a family.
Well, yeah. I wonder why.
And B, like, most Wookiees got killed.
Yeah, I wonder why that all got striked from canon. I think this film might have had something
I guess you've also got to consider.
Would you know?
Before you get, like, to the prequels, so just when you had the original trilogy on the holiday special, there's never a mention of his family again.
Yeah, because I bet there was some reviews of that after it aired that Christmas, and people were just like, "What the fuck is this?"
It is. So there's a famous story that Carrie Fisher had the Christmas special on tape, and she would play it at parties when she wanted people to leave.
That's great.
That was kind of her. Okay, party's over. Time for you to go home.
There was so many things in this. Like, for one, looked like a house out of the 70s. Like, it looked like
a bad sitcom.
Yeah, it looked like one of the writers was just like, "Oh, let's just film this at my house," or "Hey, I've brought some furniture from home so we can fill out the set." Like, it looked very weird. They also made a lot of use of like concept arts for screens, and then green screening stuff in.
Well, it was the one where you had him go outside,
and he walked along the railing.
And you had like the drawing of the treehouse, and then him walking along the fucking railing. It's like,
that's so Compton.
Who is that for?
Yeah, it was just very. And then there's like the VR set that was quite clearly one of those old hairdryer things that goes over the head.
Well, what was that scene?
I'm sorry, that felt like something out of VR chat.
It felt like
it went from sus, like I was about to watch a
13-year-old boy having some alone time that we definitely shouldn't have seen.
Yeah, it felt like VR chat, like where you're like, this is a bit sus, what's going on here? And then the person just starts breaking out in song, and you're like, okay, this is something else now. Like, this is.
And all of the scenes were really stretched out.
Yeah, never really. They were like so different.
Like, it could have been 40 minutes long, had the exact same story, and you wouldn't have missed anything.
Yeah, there was just such weird, like the cooking video. The fuck was that? That was like some weird cooking show parody.
Yeah.
The shopkeeper guy was weird. I don't like.
The Empire randomly having an issue with their house in particular, and being dicks, but not like Empire dicks, just police level dickage.
Yeah. And then them calling everyone to try and find out where Han is.
Yeah.
It was which is just a way to cameo Luke and Leia, and R2 and C-3PO. It's just like, how can we cameo the main characters, but not have to pay them a lot? it was very weird. And
Put it
yeah,
this way, we watched it so you don't have to.
it's so funny though, going from like Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, which was fun, enjoyable, and felt like a holiday special, to this
Yeah.
fever dream.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And I think fever dream is the perfect way to describe it.
really feels like a writer just was told, we're writing a holiday special to make money.
Just make it work. And
Yeah,
you didn't.
come up with whatever you can and whatever's the cheapest, like sets and like however we can make this as cheap as possible. And some writer came in one day and was like, has terrible flu, and he's like, I had a great dream for a story last night.
You know what was actually, in my opinion, one of the weirdest things?
Go on.
The bit right at the end where they all like
They suddenly become a
at the
cult.
tree. They're at the tree and they're doing like their festivities for lifestyle. Why does Carrie Fisher give that speech? It's like, you know how sometimes shows have speeches that are obviously intended for the audience, but they make them work for the setting. They wanted to give the audience a speech about the festivities and this and season's greetings and all that essentially, but they didn't make it fit. They just were
No.
like, here is the speech.
Also, why did they suddenly transport into being a cult in red cloaks?
Yeah, it was a lot.
And then they broke out in song. It was just, there was a lot of singing, unnecessary singing, and I'm just like, this is very...
Yeah.
I'm glad that it was stricken out of canon, and I'm glad it's long forgotten.
It left more answers than questions, that's for sure. But if you're ever really drunk, really high, or want
to get rid of a guest,
to kill, yeah, just whack it on.
Let's hope next week's special is, because we were going to do the animated one.
It's an animated Marvel, like probably,
and at least it includes Santa.
Like 18 to 13-year-old is probably like the range they were going for with it. So it's probably going to be a bit more fun and definitely like easier to follow what's happening.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be quite the same level of Fever Dream.
Yeah, but it'll probably have its own issues.
Probably.
But I knew I just had to watch this once so that I could understand when people were like, or on Twitter, and they're just like, never forget when they tried this shit.
I do feel like I've been educated on a whole new level of memes. And I'm happy for that.
Sometimes you just got to like look back to see how far you've come, kind of thing.
This is true. I mean, I don't think I'll ever complain about Star Wars again.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Disney have made some fuck ups in Star Wars at times.
Not
Never
this level.
Anything as bad as that. That was all Lucasfilm.
Yeah, that was a poor choice on their part, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer.
Yes.
As is tradition, about 30 seconds after we finished recording, we saw that the Guardians 3 trailer had come out about 10 minutes, with like 10 minutes left of what we were recording.
Yeah.
It's always the way. Thursday seems to be a news night for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's always late. It's just the way it is. It's fine.
Yeah. Always. Overall, I don't think that. No, do I want to do it here? We'll talk about the trailer. I'll tag on my bit at the end.
Okay.
The trailer was very good. I think a lot of the stuff is reused footage from the teaser that was shown at San Diego that we got like shitty little ripped bits from.
Yeah, I think there's bits of that and just an extended cut of it.
I know for a fact that Twitter has already forwarded that scene where Drax throws a ball at a child.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not?
A lot of Twitter is of the opinion that is already funnier than anything else that's happened in Phase 4.
I mean, I think we both watched it.
Yeah, we watched it. We basically watched it together.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, Drax got. Oh, okay, Drax, that was not good. That was not the right move.
That's a bad touch, Drax. Bad touch.
yeah, like they land on some weird looking Earth. Like the shot
I
is like,
assume
I thought they were landing on Earth, but then they land in some like animal Earth.
my guess is kind of the Earth as it's like just aware of everything now. It's just like aliens are coming and going and living among us.
Oh, see, I look like
It's very
I
possible they just landed on the wrong Earth.
yeah, I took it as like they've gone to a different Earth
Quite
because
possibly.
they obviously go and find like Gamora shows up in the
At some
trailer,
point. Yeah.
so they've obviously got to go find a new Gamora at some point. Um, and like from Rocket, they know about the whole like multiple like timelines and stuff going back in time
Oh,
and
I don't think
quantum
there was any timeline hopping. I think this is the Gamora from the
multiverse.
past. And she didn't get snapped at the end of Endgame. She just ran off.
Okay. What else got? Oh, we saw Baby Rocket with his
We saw
little
Baby Rocket.
with his
We
otter
saw, what was her
girlfriend,
name? Sonya.
something like that.
These three.
Um,
Yeah.
which I think everyone's already fallen in love again with Baby Rocket and
Yeah.
Rocket hugging
And
her.
his little otter girlfriend.
Um,
We got our
definitely.
first look at Adam Warlock.
Oh yes, we did with a gem in his forehead, which some people are wondering what that is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Adam Warlock normally has a
I don't know.
gem in his forehead. Let me look at his comic book design here to make sure I'm not tripping the fuck out. He has and he hasn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh
So,
wait, I'm pretty sure when he has had a gem in its head, it was the Mind Stone, like
oh,
what Vision has in his head. So people are probably confused because they're like, "Well, we know it's not the Mind Stone, so what the fuck is it?" I'm going to go ahead and say it's a design choice.
okay, understandable. But yeah, we
Um,
got a first look at him, who actually I think he looks quite good, considering like you've got to do a golden man.
I quite like him. I do agree with the complaints about what you can see on his suit about Marvel's history with just adding loads of unnecessary lines.
Oh, got you. I get you.
Loads of lines. They try and make everything look quite armory, and I get that because like people should wear armor, but at the same time, these are like superheroes. Not all of them need armor, and like Adam Warlock is basically just like a black singlet with a red cape normally.
Right.
I
I
don't
get you.
hate his design. I would like a little bit more simplicity to it, I guess.
Yeah, I get you.
But overall, I think it actually looks quite good. Will Poulter looks okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
No, I don't. And the trailer definitely has us fear it. Like everyone's of the opinion that
Groot's gonna die. No, not Groot. Sorry,
I
Rocket.
was gonna say Groot. No,
Rocket
yeah,
gonna die.
everyone's of the opinion Rocket's gonna die. I did see one person say, "What if Rocket's not dying? What if it's his girlfriend?" But then I feel like it wouldn't explain why everyone else is so upset. Although maybe because it's his like
I think we are getting his girlfriend purely for him to be fulfilled before he dies.
possibly. Or in before we lose Gamora again.
Mate, that would be outrageous.
That's why Peter's so upset. Also, we saw they're in a new the same ship that we saw in the Christmas special, the
yeah,
holiday special.
a new ship to us
Yeah.
overall.
So
We
that's their
also got
third ship.
Star-Lord in a accurate comic book accurate
Oh yeah, they're in new outfits.
suit. Yeah, traditional. Traditional. Guardian of the Galaxy costumes.
And we got more Swole Groot.
Yeah, with his head just seems to sit a bit weird. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I feel
I'll
like
be
it's that
honest.
thing where like young adult teenage age where you grow.
You don't always grow proportionately.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to give that feel to him. Because last time we saw him, he was in like his early teenager like angst stage. So that, or they're just going for like a more unique shape, I guess. So he stands out from the other old group.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do.
But yeah, overall looks good.
I'm excited for it. It's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, me too.
We got another couple of shots of the High Evolutionary again.
Oh yeah, we did.
Which brings me on to my thing that I wanted to bring up.
Oh.
Last week I was talking about how to become an MCU actor with great success.
Yes.
I also realised
Mhm.
I missed an actor off that list.
Go on.
The actor who playing the High Evolutionary is also in an episode of Doctor Who.
Of course he is.
Episodes 1 and 2 of Matt Smith's second season, the Impossible Astronaut episodes. He plays Mr. Peterson, the Secret Service member.
Oh, okay.
I was laying in bed literally Monday and Wednesday night watching it, and I saw him and I was like, holy shit, that's the High Evolutionary. Shows you how many of these actors go through the BBC at some point, even in tiny little roles.
Yeah.
I'm willing to die on the hill that maybe not for the MCU specifically, but for being a successful actor going through the BBC is very important because it teaches you how to be a professional.
Yeah, and it's also one of those, like, I think it's like I said it last week, which, like, it's like an acting credit of being like doing something for the BBC is like good big tick on your resume.
Yeah, it's working on a very professional, very
Well-known.
not necessarily traditional, but like BBC's been around for fucking ever.
Yeah, well established.
Yes, thank you, well established. You're working on these very professional, well established sets, working on shows like Doctor Who that have existed for 60 years at this point.
Yeah.
Turn up, do your job, work hard.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there we go. More names to add to the list of people who've done that way and why you should listen to me and go that way. Side note, BBC, if you're looking for any slightly sniffly 23-year-olds, I'm open for roles.
Or tall bearded guys, yeah, sure.
Everyone's looking for tall bearded men. Your time's come. Sit down.
I will take over as the Witcher. Hi, it's me. I'll do it.
Bottle of water.
Anyway, back to the Christmas festivities.
Yeah, more Christmas. Woo!
As we're getting closer.
It for all it's worth.
We're only 3 weeks away ish. But no, 2 weeks.
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, just over 2 weeks. Christmas countdown.
We have a fun little thing to ponder.
Who
would you rather spend Christmas Day with? The Avengers, the Bat Family, the Guardians of the Galaxy, or Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, and co?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. After that holiday special we just watched, I kind of don't know if I want to go anywhere near Star Wars for Christmas, because that seems like it's like going to the weird family members for like Boxing Day, and you're like, what are these weird traditions they're doing? And
I get it. You don't feel like a light day celebration.
No, I don't feel like a light day celebration.
I would 100% get it. I put it in there before I had watched the special. I was like, oh, this would be relevant.
Yeah, had I seen a Christmas tree made of lightsabers, that would have been cool and maybe piqued my interest. But yeah, I mean, maybe they can change my opinion. But yeah, Star Wars is probably bottom of the list. I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm probably gonna have to agree with you there.
I don't know who.
I feel like the Guardians are more of like a Thanksgiving group of people.
Yeah.
Because you know how, like, for some people who, like, once they're adults and they've moved away from their family, they do Thanksgiving with friends and then they go back home for Christmas.
Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like Guardians is more that kind of a vibe.
It's like when you're with your mates and you like do an early Christmas all together.
Yeah.
Because you're all going to be gone for Christmas.
I feel like if you spend Christmas Day with the Guardians, you're not going to eat.
Oh, no, it's going to be a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Someone's going to end up with a prosthetic arm. At some point, you're going to
go, I'm hungry. And someone's going to go, well, fucking cook then.
That, or it's just going to be, no one's going to cook a turkey. It's just going to be a collection of sides because they're great hangover food.
Yeah. And nothing made fresh that day. It's all going
Oh,
to be
and
like
it's all going to be the
frozen
weirdest
stuff.
gifts as well.
Oh yeah, no serious gifts.
I think, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely like Thanksgiving or friend Christmas. Definitely
Whereas
that pre. Batfam's going to be the family one, the strongest family one, I think. But also
100%,
probably
it's
going to be
also
a
going to be
bit.
chaos.
It's also going to be very like. Surely they have a black Christmas tree and black presents.
It's gothic.
Yeah, it's going to be like a gothic Christmas. And
I
Joker's definitely
disagree.
going to ruin it.
I agree that a villain may ruin it slightly.
Joker's going to put presents under the tree.
My big pluses for Batfam Christmas. You just know Alfred is serving up the best
Oh,
Christmas dinner you've ever had.
oh, that's a good point. Yeah, but Avengers, Thor could provide the food and drink.
No. Alfred is clear. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, no, you're right there. He's gonna cook up a hell of a meal.
And mega rich monies means good presents.
Yeah, though also Avengers like if Iron Man's presents are gonna be sick, he's gonna make some cool stuff for you.
Do you not feel like he would just get you expensive stuff for the sake of it being expensive and not necessarily think about what and just get a nice one back?
We all know what Iron Man would do. Everyone would just get an Iron Man suit.
He would buy something he likes that is also expensive. Whereas I feel like Tim, for instance, would be like, "Oh, Hori really likes art, so I'm gonna go and buy him an original Monet."
Yeah.
Whereas Tony would be like,
Tony
"I
would be
really like expensive gin. Here is a very expensive bottle
No,
of
what
gin."
he'd do is he'd go, "Here's the Iron Man Mark III suit, just because so you can remember me. But I had great use out of it, and you'll get great use out of it. And deep down, it's so they always think of him."
Yes, exactly. And while I get your concern about it being particularly gothic,
Oh no, I'm just saying that's just going to be the visual vibe. Like I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing.
I think Tim and Damien would make it colourful,
I suppose,
as
yeah.
well as Cassandra probably. But there is all the biggest danger with Batfam is when it gets to leftover time, you might legitimately have to fight a bitch to make a turkey sandwich.
Just spar.
Yeah.
I think there's that, and then there's definitely they're gonna pull the crackers and it's gonna explode because Joker's done something to them. No, I am with you on Batfam is gonna be like definitely a stronger family vibe. I feel like Avengers is a weird mix of both them and Guardians. It's gonna be a bit like some friends and some family, like
they're more adulty and they're more responsible. So you are going to get to eat, and the present's going to be a bit more thoughtful.
Some people will give great presents. Some, like we've said, Tony will just give things that are his. And
you know what it is? It's the difference between like friends giving when you're a bunch of like 22, 23-year-olds and friends giving when you're a bunch of 40-year-olds.
Yes. And there'll be like a few kids running around.
Yeah.
Which is the Young Avengers.
Yeah. You're gonna have the Young Avengers running around and go, these are fucking
great. Spider-Man is Peter Parker's definitely gonna still sat at the kids' table.
Yeah. And the other thing to consider with the Avengers as well, Steve is gonna make you say grace before you're allowed to.
Oh yeah, that is gonna be a very traditional Christmas.
Yeah.
And then you've got Thor probably making you do something for
you just know Thor is doing pints at a rate of knots.
And just eating a whole turkey to himself.
Yeah. For sure. Proper like in the first Thor film, you know, when he gets the coffee, when it's like, more!
Literally.
So are we agreeing our ranking is Star Wars?
At the bottom. Yeah. I think.
Guardians 3?
I think I would put Avengers 3. I would put Guardians. I'd rather do Guardians over Avengers. It'd be more
I can back that.
And then
Star Wars 4, Avengers 3.
Guardians 2.
Guardians 2, and Bat Fam is where we are spending Christmas Day.
But we're definitely having a pre-Christmas get together with the Guardians because that's how it's best.
Yeah, for sure.
All doing Secret Santa.
So Bruce would like to know what size body bag you wear, just in case shit goes wrong.
Yeah, you don't have stockings; you just have body bags.
Yeah. But it was something I thought would be quite funny just to imagine what these characters see so much.
Well, I mean, so far we've experienced Star Wars Christmas. We both agree that's not great. We've witnessed what Guardians Christmas looks like. Pure chaos. And random banter gifts and kidnapping a man. But very festive. But now we just need a Batman get together on the
I imagine if you
screen.
go on Tumblr, you'd be able to find that pretty easily.
Probably is.
Probably a million fan arts of it.
And then there's probably an event. Well, we're going to watch the animated Avengers one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll probably get a better idea of what. You never know, after that, we might want to Avengers back up to second.
Yeah, maybe. We'll get a better insight depending on how they treat Santa.
Exactly. But this brings us on to the Nerd News Network.
It does. Jingle's playing now. Yeah, definitely. Everyone can hear it.
Everyone. Very, very well known.
Yeah.
If anyone else tries to use it, we will sue.
Yes.
So first and foremost, probably around about now during the Games Awards, we're going to be getting our first look at Star Wars Survivor, the second game in the Fallen Order franchise.
Yes. It's the follow-on to Jedi Fallen Order with Cal Kestis. I forget his last name. Kestis.
Is it Kestis? I think it's Kestis.
Something along those lines. But yeah, carrying on with Cal and your little BD1 or whatever the robot was called.
BD1. Very fun game.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the better Star Wars games in a while.
And this game's been being worked on for like 3 years already, and it's probably... Do we have a release date? It's March time?
I think the leaked release is March 14th or something like that, but obviously those could
the subject change, but it gives us a rough idea of what...
Yeah, it does. And there's rumours of Obi-Wan's going to be in it.
Yeah, Obi-Wan gameplay or cosmetics, so that while you're playing as Cal, it can look like Obi-Wan.
I think you're going to meet Obi-Wan.
That'd be very cool. I'd be very much down for that.
But yeah, that'll be. And is it gameplay they're showing in?
I think there's supposed to be gameplay. Okay. So if this is out right now, there's probably a gameplay trailer somewhere that you could go and watch if you're interested in that.
Also in Star Wars news, which I've realised we haven't put on here, we got a poster for Star Wars Acolyte.
Oh, did we?
Yes, which, if I remember correctly, is going to be Sith focused.
Oh yeah, no, I did see that. I did see that.
So excited for, because I've not really heard much about that show, because it's live action show that's going to be on Disney Plus, I presume.
Yeah. All we knew it was live action. It was set a while ago, and that was about it.
So apparently it's going to be very Sith led.
Yeah. So it's from a Sith's point of view.
Yes, very excited for
which I mean we said we wanted.
Yeah, I'm so hyped for some Sith action.
I also think for some reason that Acolyte's got some of the people who worked on Rogue One.
Possibly. A lot of them are working, like same which happened with Marvel, a lot of the same people are working across all of them now. Across like Mando and everything.
Yeah. So Amandla Stenberg is the main actress in it. I believe she is playing the Sith that it focuses on.
I'm excited for some hopefully well portrayed, like powerful Sith.
Yeah. And maybe not just like a crazy like has to rule the world Sith, and just like because like there's stories of Siths who like they
Well,
were so well controlled Sith they just used it to be like really rich and powerful, successful.
yes, yes, there was, and I mean, like, look at Darth Maul. Darth Maul wasn't necessarily take over the world. He was just he felt cheated and went even darker. Like, so he was just a great warrior.
Yeah.
Um,
So like they could have a lot of fun with it for
they
sure.
could.
We're also expecting a Spiderverse trailer.
Yes, we are any day now.
What 13th? I think the rumor was.
10th or 13th, somewhere in that range of like the 10th to the
Like
13th.
yeah, before we next record, there should be a trailer for Across the Spider-Verse
There
Part 1.
should be, of which there has now been. Well, I don't know if I don't think we've talked about this yet, but the fact that there's going to be multiple art styles
Yeah, so
used
instead
this
of doing
time.
what they did last time,
Well, it was
where
different
they
designed characters.
yeah, they're gonna like invert that, aren't they? The characters
Yes,
are basically all gonna be the same, but the universe that they're in is gonna have a unique art style.
yeah, because it's now hit rather than those Spider-Man coming to his world. It's the idea that he's going to these different worlds. So obviously, a lot more of the art is going to be a different style, which I'm super excited for because the way that they've animated the first one and the art style of the first one is like it's going to be incredible. I already know it's going to be incredible.
It's gonna be really enjoyable to watch for sure.
I look forward to the live action Tom Holland section.
So is he rumored to actually be live action
I
in
don't
it, or
know.
is he rumored to just be voice acting in it?
I don't know actually. If they did
Because
live
he's
action,
rumored
that
to be in it.
yeah, I feel like live action would be weird though. It'd be kind of
I guess.
jarring. Depends how it's
I
done.
guess. Yeah, it depends how it's done and how long a cameo it is.
Yeah, if it's very brief, I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah,
But yeah, that could
but
be.
it's interesting.
Yeah, trailer should be good.
Unless they make it so that he falls in through a portal also, and
Yeah, it's
he's
like
briefly
brief.
animated, but it's made clear that it's the same Spider-Man,
Yeah,
but he's animated because he's fallen into an animated universe.
possibly. Yeah, it's another one.
Um, Back to Star Wars news, because why
Yes,
would we
staying
have
on
any?
trailers. We also was it yesterday or the
Day
day
before?
before? Maybe. As you're listening to this, it's a couple of days ago. There was the Bad Batch season 2 trailer, which we already knew. Like we knew was coming. Hadn't really had much on it other than it had got announced.
It was yesterday. I stand corrected.
Okay, so Wednesday, previous Wednesday from when we were listening to
Yeah,
this. Yeah,
yeah.
so
We got a trailer and confirmation that it is starting on January 4th.
yes, so fresh content for the new year for us.
Whoop whoop.
It's going to be 16 episodes. I can't remember how many episodes season 1 was. I feel like
I
this
want to
is
say
long.
12.
Yes, I feel like this is a little bit longer.
Well, they fleshed out the characters a bit more now.
Yeah, and it's set up now to like expand on what they're doing. Like their position
Exactly.
in the world is set up. There's was one kind of big cameo shown in the trailer, which was Gungi, who is the Wookiee
Yeah.
Jedi, who people might remember
Oh
from
no,
the.
season 1 was 16 as well.
Oh, okay. People know him as the young Wookiee Jedi in Clone Wars that Ahsoka helped when they went to get their kyber crystals.
Yeah, there was the episode where you had loads of young Jedi going to get the kyber crystals.
So he survived
Because
Order 66.
he had like the really cool wooden hilt.
Yes. So he's obviously survived Order 66 and somehow ends up with the Bad Batch. So that's going to be interesting because that leads me to believe there's going to be more chance of us finding, or there's going to be more episodes where like maybe they find Jedi or help Jedi that are on the run.
The Bad Batch going around like helping Jedis get
Uh,
new secret lives would be really cool.
Helping Jedi and helping any like stormtroopers like Rex.
Because when you bear in mind the clones were designed to help the Jedi and then
Yes.
kill them. the idea that they were fucked up and therefore they couldn't do the then killing them part, the idea that they go around still helping the Jedi is very.
And it also, they seem to still be doing jobs for that woman in the bar, and it's like she seems to send them off on some pretty big heist. So I feel like it's gonna have some big kind of build up to some
Yeah.
heist action, which we loved in Andor. So if they can bring the same vibe, all for.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to it. It'll be good. It'll be nice to start the new year off with some new content for us to sink our teeth into.
And
And the Star
animated.
Wars content at the minute hasn't been missing, so hopefully they
No.
can keep up that hot streak.
Exactly.
And now into the absolute mosh pit that is DC right
Yeah,
now.
into our weekly DC discussion segment that seems to be happening.
Yeah,
it's
honestly.
just, we don't know if we're bashing them, celebrating them, confused, lost.
So a few weeks back we spoke about Jason Momoa
Yes.
potentially ditching Aquaman to be Lobo instead.
Yeah, rumors that he's really into Lobo. James Gunn wants to maybe do a Lobo film.
Yeah. And there seems to be a bit of fuel being added to that fire with rumors that Aquaman 2 is going to end the Aquaman franchise so that Jason Momoa can then be cast as Lobo for a reboot.
Do you know what I think's happened there? Because there was like, after the James Gunn thing, he like must have mentioned he liked Lobo. Someone had then asked Jason Momoa on a red carpet about it. And he said, "Oh well, I love Lobo. I've collected all the Lobo comics." I bet James Gunn was already planning on scrapping Aquaman, like whatever his plan is for DCEU, and he's seen that and gone, "Oh well, I love Jason Momoa, so you know what? Maybe we will do the Lobo thing, and I'll just put him as Lobo." And
I've got a feeling that rumor was to gauge audience reception. And when everyone went, "Oh, it sucked to lose Aquaman, but Jason Momoa as Lobo would be lit."
and
Jeez,
Jason
God,
Momoa himself
that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, and he knows that Jason Momoa would want to do it. It's like, it can easily go to Jason Momoa and go,
someone else.
"I'm sorry Aquaman's going, but I've got this for you."
And also, it's easier to find someone else to be Aquaman in 4 or 5 years' time than it is to find someone to be Lobo right now.
Yes, exactly. But also in the DC world,
Yeah.
world, we got rumor but pretty strong confirmation that Wonder Woman 3 is not going to be happening now.
Yeah.
Which, not surprised.
I mean, the second film was not well received at all.
No, and as far as I know, nothing's really started on, like, maybe they were in early writing, but like, it's not like it's in a already in production situation.
Yeah, they've not spent a lot of money on it right now. It's a very easy time to plug.
Yeah, I imagine that's one of these are more things that are coming from James Gunn's like roadmap, where he's come in, someone's laid out, right, this is the films coming out, these are the ones that we'd planned to do. What do you want to do? And he's gone, "No, I don't need Wonder Woman 3 anymore. We can scrap that. Don't need this. We're not going to do that anymore." And that was one of them. Also on the list.
Yeah, it looks like Black Adam hasn't made enough money to be seen as viable. It's lost about 100 million. So it's looking unlikely we're getting a second Black Adam.
Yeah, it's
a rough one.
We both enjoyed it, and I think
here's the problem. I didn't enjoy it enough for it to cost as much as it cost.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah. Like, it's definitely one of those films where, like,
they need to find a way to make that film for 200 million, not 600.
Well, I think that film makes a profit if the DCEU was in a better space and was a bit more tied together. And it's like, oh, Black Adam's now coming in as part of, like, connects with the Shazam film really well and the films that have been coming out. But because of the state of DC, everyone's kind of gone, it's probably not going to be that great because all the other DC films have been shit. And they've spent too much. They've spent more than they ever really would have got, thinking that like it was going to be a running success or something.
Yeah, no, completely. I couldn't agree more with you, and also, I mean, the economy's in the fucking mud.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't afford or can't spare the money to go to the cinema to watch a film.
Yeah, and also it's like you look at what films are coming up, and if you're being tight on money and you're not going to go to the cinema as much, what am I going to pick superhero wise? Black Adam or Black Panther comes out like a month later. Obviously, I'm just going to save my money and go watch Black Panther and make that my like cinema choice. I think it's a part of that
Exactly.
as well.
Exactly. We've also got a release date for the Blue Beetle film, which seems to have survived the cut. Maybe that's because it's already finished and they're like, we may as well be back from.
Yeah, and maybe it's a bit more standalone.
Maybe.
So they
Maybe James Gunn's seen the cut they've got made and gone, we
quite
can
like that.
build from that.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe it's
But,
actually a decent film and he likes it.
yeah. Blue Beetle is scheduled to release on August 18th, 2023. So, what, 9 months? 8 months?
Oh yeah. Not far then. Then realistically, well, we say that, but for DC, that could mean it comes out in 2025.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? So there is two ways to look at Aquaman, Flash, and
don't mind Connor. He's having a coughing fit.
Blue Beetle. Either they're gonna find a way to make them work,
Yeah.
or they've gone, we've already spent all the money on them. Let's send them out anyway and see if we can recoup any of that.
Yeah, I think we've said it a few times that the worry is Flashpoint's going to come out and do some weird shit with the storyline and the grand scheme of things. Aquaman's then going to not really mean much. And then in the grand scheme of things, if James Gunn doesn't even want to continue with them, they're kind of pointless story-wise. So realistically, them being released is just trying to recoup some money, minimizing loss. So yeah, I think also on that is like there's a rumored cameo in Flashpoint for Superman.
Yeah, which is again weird.
Currently, apparently, it's unsure if it will make the cut for the film or not, which I think ties in with this whole Man of Steel 2 is also up in the air at the moment. I think what we'll probably have found is Warner Brothers have gone, let's get Henry Cavill back. And they've signed whatever deal it was that he's agreed to be Superman again. He starred in Black Adam 2 as a little cameo. Public loved it. Everyone was happy to see him back in the suit. So then they've probably had shelved Man of Steel 2 was probably like on a shelf somewhere for a while. And they've pulled it back out. And I think what's happened is James Gunn's deciding whether he wants to scrap Man of Steel 2 and just start a fresh Superman, or keep Man of Steel. So then he's deciding whether that keeps in the cameo in Flashpoint. But if he keeps the cameo in, that means Flashpoint gets tied into everything. It's like this weird mess of threads that James Gunn's trying to figure out what the fuck to do with. It's like everything's knotted up and he's trying to untangle it and find out actually what's the thread to hold on to.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think at the minute everyone's kind of in a wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, no one has a fucking clue what's happening.
All I picture at the moment for James Gunn's like day to day is he walks into an office with like a massive conference table and it's like loads of pieces of paper with like the film titles, what came out, strings connecting stuff, and then it's like what's to release and ready to go and what was planned for the future. And he's like putting like a red dot on or like crossing off the ones he doesn't want, and he's trying to figure out how to kind of make a sense of the mess that is DC.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you.
So They're also they're presenting to Warner Brothers next week or something.
Yeah, so it looks like they have their roadmap, or a version of their roadmap at least, that needs to be
Yeah.
presented, which is going to be done next week. I don't know if that information is going to be made public pretty sharpish, or if we're just going to be dealing with leaks or what.
Leaks and
But
rumors, probably.
that might be it gets presented there, and then the week after, as long as it's all agreeable, it gets made public. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll start getting like drip fed.
Well,
Like-
because they're like a publicly traded company, big stuff like productions getting 100% scrapped and stuff getting greenlit will get out pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
if anything from it starts making things happen instantly, we'll know pretty sharpish.
So we might actually have a lot to talk about next week, potentially.
It might be less hypothetical and more realistic.
We might be able to say we were right or we were very wrong.
Exactly.
But yeah, hopefully some good stuff comes.
And now onto the superhero showdown this week, with Swamp Thing versus The Signal.
Yes, our first of the DC side of the bracket.
It is the first of our DC side of the bracket, and I believe these are both heroes.
Yes, they are. Swamp Thing, who we've talked about a few times, and
yeah,
The Signal, who we have not.
Yeah, The Signal is a member of the Bat fam. Pretty cool character. At some point I might get around to the character file on him.
He'd be good at Christmas.
He would. You're not wrong. And Swamp Thing, who, I mean,
we've talked about Man Thing, so
yeah, and they do have a lot of similarities. They're one of the few characters where I don't hate the constant. Oh, they're just copies of each other, because I mean they really are.
They are. So
The Signal is due his advantage, as this is the 1 versus the 8 seed.
I have an advantage for him.
Oh, go on then. Let's see if this lines up with mine.
I was looking over like his powers and stuff, and obviously he can control light and different things. One of his
the green. Oh, sorry, you're talking about Signal.
Signal, sorry, yeah. One of the things he had was he can be invisible at times. So I was thinking we allow him to be able to do invisible, like be invisible.
Okay.
And make that his advantage, because I feel like that would help him a lot.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. My potential advantage that I had come up with was the environment the fight is taking place in. Is not a particularly natural environment with lots of trees, which will limit Swamp Thing's powers and ability to.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with whichever you're more confident with. If you want your man to be invisible, he can be invisible.
I don't. I'm now trying to game the system. I think we go with the invisible because it's. We're trying to do an advantage for the Signal. I think it's better that if we can make the advantage on their side
instead of a disadvantage for the other.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's a pretty neutral environment anyway. Then, both bloodlusted. Fight.
Rules apply.
Yeah.
18s and over.
Standard. Off Bill plays mission before 17. So, you know what's really scary? Sorry, now that I've just said that. There's going to be an entire generation of kids that don't remember them adverts. It's like, please seek Bill pays permission before entering.
Yeah, there really is.
They're not going to know.
Yeah.
Because there's an entire generation of kids that don't actually watch TV now. They just watch. And don't get me wrong, this is all I watch now as well. But like YouTube, Netflix, streaming services. Like no actual honest to God TV.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is the only place them competitions ever get run, which is just hilarious.
So, Swamp Thing, I feel, is more kind of understood. If you don't know, big plant guy.
He controls the green. He protects the green. He is the green. he's very similar to Poison Ivy.
But
Um,
the yoked version in a way. He's just
and
strong.
and he's even more neutral than Poison Ivy.
Yes. He's a very neutral character.
He does live in the swamplands, and as long as you stay away from the swamps, doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. He is just really fucking strong, controls the plants, and he can grow in size if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Lots of control over his own body.
The signal is all control over light and darkness, essentially.
Yeah, it's not
He can do some
complete control as far as I know, and it's not insane levels, but he can make some shit happen.
yeah, and he can. I was looking up and like you can see very slightly into the past and very slightly into the future, like by a few seconds.
Yeah, I think
And he has X-ray vision as well because he can sense everything on the UV spectrum. And then obviously we talked about that he can be invisible at times, which I'm gonna guess is him bending light around himself.
I would assume so. That would make the most sense. My thing is, plants enjoy light.
Hmm.
Like, plants don't have many things. One of their things is light is tasty.
Yeah, see, if the Swamp Thing is the same as like light, he needs certain amount of light to just sustain. Because
I don't even necessarily think that he like needs light, but like plant life in general, he feeds off of.
yeah,
In the sense of he's connected to everything. This man's a walking UV bulb that's just like photosynthesis heaven.
Yeah, but he can also control darkness to
True.
certain. So he could just pull all the light away.
But that doesn't instantly kill plants, it just stops them growing.
True. It's a weird because I feel like the whole like seeing a little bit into the past and future is gonna help him like I think with invisibility and that, like he's gonna be able to get some like jabs and damage in. I guess it's kind of like Swamp Thing's a big chunky guy. Can the signal be dexterous enough to just like wear him down essentially?
I don't think so. Because as far as I know, he's pretty much like human level durability. And Swamp Thing does like tendrily things, which are like
non-human things.
well, it's not even that. They're just like they're very kind of like frog tongue in the sense of they're very
yeah.
very accurate and.
I think he'd be able to like dodge a certain amount of like attacks, and being able to go invisible and stuff is going to help him because Swamp Thing's not going to be the smart. He's not the smartest. He's neutral and he's got a certain level of intelligence, but like he's not going to be able to predict necessarily where he's going to reappear or anything.
Yes,
but I do
think
feel like the plant life is going to somewhat eventually overpower the signal.
I think it's a lot of posturing and the signal hoping for an opportunity that just never comes. And then the Swamp Thing just essentially clamps down on him over time, and then before he knows it, being crushed to death by literal tree trunks.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to wear Swamp Thing down a bit, but at the end of the day, like you say, he's just going to get kind of overrun because all it takes is like getting hit the odd time, getting caught by the odd vine that slows him down in a split second. Like then suddenly it's like, oh, now I've got two things on me. Oh, and now I'm like being engulfed by vines and I'm no way out.
Swamp Thing has too much of a one-punch potential.
Yes.
So like I said, all he has to do is get tripped up, and then all of a sudden it's a literal forest dropped on his head.
It's like domino effect.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue. Don't get me wrong, I think he holds his own pretty fucking well, but I mean, he is a human. It gets to the point where he just
I think if he If you could
stunning.
hold off long enough and like plunge everything into darkness, then maybe that slows down. Like Swamp Thing's like able to heal himself or whatever,
Yeah,
and like over time is going to weaken him. But I don't think the signal can kind of last that slugfest that would need to be.
yeah,
So I think unfortunately, even with the advantage, it helps, but it's not enough.
yeah.
And I think Swamp Thing takes it.
I'm inclined to agree. And that makes something our first winner.
Of DC, it is. And it's a shame
Indeed.
that the signal's already out, but
Such as life. Get good, scrub.
he can go rock up to the Bat Farm Christmas and control the Christmas lights.
Exactly. He can come have absolute vibes with us for Christmas.
He can.
And who wouldn't want to do that, in all honesty? Next week, we have another fun one.
Oh.
Raven versus Booster Gold.
Interesting.
Now, I have a feeling...
They're not both your
Booster
picks.
Gold is... No, Raven is your pick. And Booster Gold is mine. God, I've got a feeling I put Booster Gold on just to cause you a headache.
Yeah, because I feel like you waited till I gave you mine, so then you ended up picking like... You're like, well, fine, if you're going to pick them, I'll pick this.
Yeah. I think that's what I did.
Non-toxic Connor.
Sometimes I just let... Sometimes you just got to let the intrusive thoughts win.
I don't blame you.
I would also like to point out...
Here we go.
All of your characters have the number 1 seed.
So
you have chosen all of the OP characters.
That's because you let me pick first. Don't act like if you had gone first, you wouldn't have picked some strong OP ones.
I mean, you do also have 3 out of the 4 8 seeds. You have no...
Yeah, I have a good balance. I have good range. Good range of characters.
But anyway, that wraps up for us this week.
Yes. A bit more of a news week, but...
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of this month is going to be. We have got a special episode planned for the New Year's special, which will be good.
Yes.
It's going to be more of a year in review with friends and beverages. Hopefully we're all a little bit healthier then.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm dying. This might be the end. There might not be another episode. Pray for me.
We may only get 1 year into...
Yeah, that'd be fucking sad, wouldn't it? If I die, make sure Hori gets a gold plaque, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and we will see you next week.
We'll see you next week.